My sister asked me to be her maid of honor, and I said yes before I knew what I was really there for. The morning of my sister's wedding started like any other bridal suite chaos, with hairspray clouds and champagne mimosas and everyone scrambling to find the backup bobby pins. She sat in the makeup chair looking beautiful and terrified, which I figured was just normal bride nerves before walking down the aisle in front of 200 people. I was wrong. By 9 in the morning, she was already 3 glasses deep and couldn't stop checking the door every few seconds, so I refilled her glass and said, "You look absolutely stunning, stop worrying." She grabbed my wrist hard enough to hurt and said, "You know I would never do this to you on purpose, right?" And I laughed and said, "Being maid of honor isn't that hard. I promise I forgive you for making me wear the ugly bridesmaid shoes." She didn't laugh back, and her eyes were wet and she looked like she wanted to say something else, but then my mom appeared and pulled her away. I cornered my mom by the mirror a few minutes later and said, "What the hell is going on with her?" And she grabbed my shoulders with both hands and smiled this horrible stretched fake smile and said, "Wedding day jitters, nothing to worry about, just make sure you stay close to your sister today." I said, "Why do I need to stay close to her?" And my mom's smile flickered for just a second before she said, "In case she needs you, that's all, just in case she needs you." About an hour before the ceremony, my dad took my sister into the hallway and I pressed my ear to the door and heard him say, "You will walk down that aisle. Do you understand me? This family has sacrificed too much for you to fall apart now, and I will not let you destroy everything we have worked for." She came back looking like a ghost and went straight to the bathroom and locked the door behind her. And I sat outside for 30 minutes listening to her sob and say, "I can't do this. I can't," over and over. And I kept saying, "Every bride feels this way. You're going to be fine. Just open the door and talk to me. Please just talk to me. Tell me what's wrong." The door never opened. Someone went to find a key, and when they came back, the bathroom window was wide open and her shoes were still sitting on the tile floor, and my sister was gone. I expected screaming and chaos, but instead, every single person in the room turned to look at me with the same expression on their faces, and before I could say a word, there were hands everywhere, yanking my bridesmaid dress down past my shoulders, shoving the wedding gown over my head, zipping me up so tight I couldn't take a full breath. I kept yelling, "What is happening? Will someone please tell me what is happening?" And nobody answered. They just kept moving like they had practiced this 100 times, pinning the veil into my scalp hard enough to draw blood, crushing the bouquet into my fists. And then my mom grabbed my face with both hands and looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Walk." And suddenly, I was being shoved through the doors and pushed down the aisle, and before I could scream, I was standing at the altar across from a man I had met maybe 3 times in my entire life, while 200 people watched in total silence. The ceremony started, and I just stood there watching the officiant's mouth move without hearing any of the words. The groom leaned in close like he was about to say something romantic and whispered, "You're prettier anyway," and my whole body went cold. I turned my head just slightly and caught my mother whispering to my father in the front row, "Thank God we had 2. The groom saw my expression starting to change, and he grabbed my elbow hard and whispered, "Relax, you'll get used to it." And that was when I stopped thinking entirely. I sank my teeth into his hand so hard I tasted copper, and he screamed this high-pitched sound I didn't know a grown man could make and stumbled backward into the officiant and knocked them both into the flower arrangement. I was already running, but the dress was too tight around my legs, and I went down hard on the aisle runner. I crawled on my hands and knees past rows of guests who just sat there frozen in their seats watching me claw my way toward the exit like I was entertainment they had paid for, and not a single person moved to help me. And somewhere behind me, I could hear the groom's mother yelling for someone to stop me. I made it outside into the blinding afternoon sunlight and stood there gasping for air with my hands on my knees and the taste of blood still in my mouth. A hand grasped my shoulder and spun me around, my spine shivering as my mother screamed in my face. I threw my forehead into her nose and heard something crack, and without another thought, I ran until I couldn't see the church anymore.